Nicholas Rossi update! And sentencing day is finally upon us, where Rossi finds out exactly how long his ass is getting locked up for. We were back in front of Judge Lawrence, where the prosecution and the victims pleaded with the court to throw the book at Rossi for all the pain and suffering he's caused, for how long the victims have been waiting for justice, and the extreme lengths that Rossi went to in trying to escape punishment. Rossi's defense attorney, Samantha Dugan, asked the court for leniency, citing Rossi's troubled upbringing and the abuse he suffered as a child, and instead of being sentenced to prison, asked the court that Rossi be released on probation. Judge Lawrence took all of that into consideration and said, yeah, no, you suck and you are absolutely a flight risk, so no probation, you're going to jail. And the guidelines are a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of life in prison, so I sentence you, Nicholas Rossi, to a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of life in prison. And if you're confused by that, so was I. You see, Utah has this thing called indeterminate sentencing, and how long the perpetrator will be in jail for is up to the Utah Parole Board, and they take many factors into consideration, like the severity of the crime, how well the offender behaved themselves in prison, how likely they are to reoffend if they are released, and if they have taken responsibility for their actions. And I will let Rossi speak for himself on that one.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. I will be incredibly terse. I am not guilty of this. These women are lying, and in due course, we will lodge an appeal. Thank you.
Yeah, he doesn't sound too remorseful there. Now, Rossi has already spent 3 years in prison awaiting trial, and his defense counsel asked that he be given credit for time served. And Judge Lawrence declined to make a decision there, instead deferring to the Utah Parole Board on that one. Now, if the Parole Board does give Rossi credit for time served, but also sticks to the minimum sentencing guidelines of 5 years, then the soonest Rossi could be eligible for parole is 2 years from now, which doesn't seem like a lot given everything he's done. However, he could also get denied parole over and over and over again for the rest of his natural life. Also, in only 2 weeks, on November 4th, Rossi will be back in court again, this time in front of Judge Pullen, for his sentencing in his second conviction, which again carries a minimum sentence of 5 years and a maximum of life in prison. And Judge Pullen could decide to make those sentences concurrent, have them be consecutive, or he could defer to the Utah Parole Board as well. So where does that leave us? Well, Rossi probably thinks he's going to be able to charm the parole board and get out in 2 years or less, which I think is very unlikely to happen. Rossi also has 30 days to file an appeal, which he has indicated he will be doing, but I think it's going to be appeal denied. And while the victims are not seeking financial restitution for the damage Rossi caused them, the state has indicated that they are going to try to recover the expense they paid trying to extradite Rossi from Scotland, so he could be back in court in short order on that as well. And don't forget that Rossi is still wanted by several other U.S. states for frauds and sexual assaults he's been accused of over there. And if they think that the Utah Parole Board is going to go light on Rossi, then they may try to bring him to trial just to make sure he stays locked up. So while Rossi is finally going to prison, how long exactly he does get locked up for and what happens next is unknown. So while I thought this saga was over, apparently there will be more Nicholas Rossi updates to come, and of course, I will be bringing them all to you every step of the way. Stay tuned.